Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie scenes that will never get old. For this list, we'll be looking at our favourite big screen scenes with the highest rewatch value. We'll only be considering live action flicks, as animated films deserve their own list. Which of these movie scenes do you know shot for shot? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Indy and the Boulder, Raiders of the Lost Ark. There have been many great chase scenes in movie history, some featuring one character following another on foot, while others have utilised cars, trucks and even planes to amp up the thrill. However, the one that stands out, arguably above all others, involves one man being chased by a really big rock. And no, we aren't talking about Dwayne Johnson pursuing Vin Diesel in Fast 5. We're of course referring to Indiana Jones running for his life as a large boulder rolls after him through a Peruvian temple. It's a scene that is so ingrained in our pop culture that even decades later, it has inspired songs written by nerdy geniuses.
A giant stone ball with nothing much to do, but if you steal my idol, I will roll right over you.
Number 9, I Am Your Father. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. While it was a huge spoiler for Woody Boyd on a 1988 episode of Cheers, we're going to assume by now you all know that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
Darth Vader is Luke's father?
The epic revelation from The Empire Strikes Back gave audiences chills when it was first released, and never gets old no matter how much you rewatch it.
There is no escape. Don't make me destroy you.
And while it's been famously misquoted as starting with Vader addressing his son by his name, Luke, true Star Wars fans know that the line actually is,
No, I am your father.
It's not true.
With the level of tension in this scene, it's no surprise so many misheard the quote. This classic plot twist remains one of the greatest in cinema history, and we're probably never going to stop coming back to it.
Come with me. It is the only way.
Number 8, You're Tearing Me Apart, Rebel Without a Cause.
You say one thing, he says another, and everybody changes back again!
To be clear, we're not talking about the now infamous moment from The Room.
You are tearing me apart, Lisa!
Although you could argue that that one will never get old either, but for very different reasons. Instead, what we're referring to is the powerful scene from the beginning of Rebel Without a Cause, in which an inebriated James Dean chides his parents for their incessant arguments.
You're tearing me apart!
The gut-wrenching moment packs quite the punch, and does a great job in setting up the conflict between the rebellious Jim Stark and his overbearing parents. The scene holds even more weight now given Dean's untimely death just a month before the film's release, as we're all reminded of a gifted actor taken away too soon. Number 7, The Detention Dance, The Breakfast Club. This 1985 coming-of-age drama remains a classic for many reasons. Chief among them, arguably, is this scene in which all of the members of the Brat Pack get down to the beat as a way to while away time in detention. The original script reportedly had Molly Ringwald's Claire dancing all by herself, but as the actress was too embarrassed to do it alone, director John Hughes made the kick-ass decision to let the rest of the cast join in. While they may not have had the athleticism and grace of Kevin Bacon in Footloose, all 5 actors managed to find a groove that perfectly suited their individual characters. Number 6, Dorothy Enters Oz, The Wizard of Oz. One can only imagine just how blown away audiences were in 1939 when Dorothy walked out of the monochrome farmhouse and into the Technicolor world of Oz. And while moviegoers these days have borne witness to much more impressive visual effects, there's no question that it's still a wow moment.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Maybe it's the fact that many of us watched it as kids, or that for a movie made almost a century ago, it has stood the test of time. Whatever the reason, we know one thing for sure. When that door swings open and the music swells, we'll always follow Dorothy into Oz with childlike amazement.
Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Who, me? I'm not a witch at all.
Number 5. Aragorn's speech at the Black Gate. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. The Return of the King certainly isn't short on inspiring moments. Theoden's rallying cry to the riders of Rohan still gives us chills.
Spears shall be shaken! Shields shall be splintered! A sword day! A red day! And the sun rises!
But it's Aragorn's rousing speech at the Black Gate that we keep coming back to again and again.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
As the gate opens and reveals Sauron's vast horde, the watching soldiers begin to waver. Riding along the front line, Aragorn acknowledges their fear, but also stirs their courage, urging them to hold fast to their bonds of fellowship. It's a powerful speech that proves just how worthy Aragorn was of the kingship.
By all that you hold dear on this good earth, I bid you stand, men of the West!
Number 4, the USS Indianapolis, Jaws.
The only thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes.
For people who grew up in the 70s and 80s, there were few things more terrifying than the idea of a great white shark. And we have one thing to thank for that: Jaws. In one of the most chilling scenes from the 1975 classic, shark hunter Quint recounts a haunting tale aboard the USS Indianapolis.
You on the Indianapolis?
What happened?
The harrowing 4-minute monologue was inspired by the real-life World War II ship whose crew had to survive shark-infested waters after being hit by a Japanese submarine. Robert Shaw's superb performance alone is enough to keep you coming back for more, but paired with John Williams' ominous score, it easily becomes one of the most impactful scenes of the entire movie.
So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945.
Number 3, The Clock Tower, Back to the Future.
As long as you hit that wire with a connecting hook at precisely 88 miles an hour, the instant the lightning strikes the tower, everything will be fine.
The Back to the Future trilogy remains one of Hollywood's most beloved, and it was all kicked off by this 1985 film with an electrifying climax. In an intense race against time, Doc Brown and Marty McFly gear up for an all-important lightning strike.
Here we go. This time, come on.
But with the cord stuck on a fallen tree branch, we're left at the edge of our seats riddled with questions. Will Doc plug in the cord in time? Will Marty strike the power line at the right moment? Will all of this be enough to send him back to the future? We know the answer to all those questions is yes, and yet watching the scene play out now remains as utterly satisfying as the first time around. Number 2, Andy's prison escape, The Shawshank Redemption.
All they found of him was a muddy set of prison clothes, a bar of soap, and an old rock hammer, damn near worn down to the nub.
Sometimes, to get to the light at the end of the tunnel, you'd have to dig through a lot of crap. And in The Shawshank Redemption, Andy Dufresne literally crawled through 500 yards of it to attain the freedom he had awaited for almost 20 years. Sentenced to life in prison for a crime he claimed he didn't commit, there is a collective sense of relief we feel as Andy rips off his shirt and lets the rain pour down on him. There's no question about it. This ranks as one of the most rewarding finales of any film protagonist's journey, and we're more than happy to relive it as many times as possible.
I remember thinking it would take a man 600 years to tunnel through the wall with it. Old Andy did it in less than 20.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions. Faking It, When Harry Met Sally. We'll still have what she's having.
Oh, God.
Jack Sparrow's Leaky Boat. Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. Now that's how you introduce a character. Bullet Time, The Matrix. We'd bend over backwards to watch this scene again. Singing and dancing in the rain. Singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling.
I'm laughing at clouds so dark up above. The sun's in my heart and I'm ready for love.
Training montage. Rocky. If this doesn't inspire your fitness journey, we don't know what will.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, the T-Rex breaks out. Jurassic Park.
He left us. He left us.
Since the release of Jurassic Park in 1993, many films have followed in the franchise, with advanced visual effects and more, arguably, realistic-looking dinos. And yet, if there's one scene from the entire Jurassic verse that still holds up to this day, it's the one from the OG film.
Boy, do I hate being right all the time.
After the T-Rex breaks out of its paddock, it attacks John Hammond's grandkids, nearly devouring them before it's distracted by Dr. Grant. No matter how many times you watch it, we bet you still yell at Lex to turn off that spotlight and jump in your seat whenever the dinosaur breaks through the sunroof. Even with no music in the background, we're still holding our breaths, all these years later.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.